alleviate the effects of the, anyone? The Great Depression, passed the, anyone? A tariff bill, the Hawley-Smoot Tariff Act, which...
Haven't we all had a teacher like this one? Several years ago, I attended a professional development, and on the first slide of the presentation, there was a quote. The quote said, "If the students aren't learning the way we teach, then maybe we should teach the way they learn." I think about this quote often, and it was one of the main reasons I entered this program. I am Melissa Borowski, and I am a student at Kennesaw State University working on my specialist degree in instructional technology. In the summer of 2016, my district adopted a mathematics digital resource for all students enrolled in Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. The digital resource was vetted and ultimately chosen by a superintendent's ad hoc committee that I was a part of. This was a huge financial undertaking as the county purchased an excellent resource. We have not had a formal textbook in many years, and this was the first time we were going to get any other supplemental materials. The product is outstanding and offered a plethora of research-based resources, practice, differentiation, and assessments for both students and teachers. However, there were challenges as the digital resource was being rolled out into the classrooms. Although the resource was excellent, the teachers had initial concerns and anxiety about integrating this into their current lesson plans. Our department has been working tirelessly the past several years without a textbook to develop curriculum and materials for our students, while at the same time working around these major standards changes. The concerns of the teachers were threefold. 1, the time it would take to learn the resource itself. 2, the lack of opportunities and time to attend training on the product during the school year. And 3, the fact that the digital resource and the accompanying consumable materials were not aligned to our new set of Georgia Standards of Excellence. Because I was on the Digital Resource Selection Committee, I knew all the outstanding features and benefits of this resource. And this is the reason I decided to create my capstone project called Effectively Utilizing a Digital Resource. My plan consisted of taking an initial needs assessment of my department. I wanted to get an idea of their comfort level on the product itself and also how they felt about integrating technology just in general into their classrooms. Using this survey, I plan to create 2 presentations, one for my professional learning community, my PLC, and one for my entire department. In addition, I wanted to create a tutorial of sorts to send to parents. One of our main concerns we would get from parents is that they felt their students did not have access to resources at home. The parents were at a loss when their student needed help while working on homework. And now that we had this wonderful digital resource that could be accessed anywhere, there was an internet connection, I wanted to be sure parents were able to actually access it and then knew at least a little bit about navigating the product itself. To help the teachers, my main goal was to have an open classroom for teachers to visit and observe anytime or even just to drop by and ask me questions. I also wanted to be able to coach teachers in their own classrooms and model this specific resource when necessary. Finally, I intended to create a post-survey to gain insight into how the teachers were actually using the product and if they were consistently integrating the product into their classroom, and then how many people in my department still needed guidance. My evaluation plan was to compare and contrast the initial needs assessment with the post-survey that I was going to administer at the end of the year. This was going to give me an excellent starting point for how to begin discussion in our PLCs for the following year. The parent emails and responses to the digital resource were extremely useful information as well. I planned on using all of this as feedback to begin PLC work for this current school year. When looking back at the school year last year, the bulk of my work on this capstone was completed during my PLC. We spent hours and hours discussing and planning and integrating this resource into our daily lessons. What it morphed into was something even more helpful to us. We started looking into other technologies to bring into our classrooms, and we really started creating engaging and authentic lessons. This started to filter out into our department. The teachers were excited to see what we were doing in our classrooms, and then they were excited to try some of our fun games and our fun activities we were doing. They also were learning so much about this digital resource, and they were coming up with ideas and bringing them to us. It was a great learning experience for everyone in the math department. Our EOC scores went up 20% last December, and I fully believe it was the integration of our resource and the way we integrated all the different types of technology we were learning and creating the engaging lessons in our classrooms. The needs assessment survey was extremely helpful when determining how teachers felt about integrating technology in general. It opened many conversations and it created productive discussion about lesson planning and designing instruction within the PLC and also at our department meetings. Overall, the Capstone was a success. 92% of my teachers at the end of the year were consistently integrating this product into their classrooms. They were using the consumables or they were using the digital resource, but they were integrating the technology and using this wonderful resource to help their math students have a resource both in the classroom and also at home. Although the Capstone was a success, there were certain parts that didn't go completely as I planned. I planned to create and deliver a presentation to my department, and due to time constraints and the way that I scheduled my department meetings, I didn't end up delivering this presentation in its entirety. I also ended up sending something parents different than what I planned. I planned to send some sort of office mix type presentation, but what I ended up doing was sending a mass email to parents about the time the EOC was coming and put information about the digital resource within that email, and then had parents contact me with certain questions they had. And that actually helped me develop this bulleted list of kind of frequently asked questions about the product that I could use whenever parents had other questions. Although these two changes were not part of my initial plan, they ended up working out for the best. I was able to work one-on-one with teachers outside of the department meetings, and I was also able to respond to interested parents about our new digital resource. This Capstone experience was very rewarding. I'm proud of the lessons that we created and the instruction that we implemented in our classrooms. And although I'm working in a different school district this year, one that does not offer this same awesome digital resource, I still use the lesson plans we created and the technology we discovered and integrated into our lessons. I enjoyed coaching my peers, and although I plan to stay in the classroom, I appreciate what I learned in this Capstone experience. Thank you for watching and listening to my video.